Good morning and most welcome to Järntorget in Gothenburg. Yes, we are smack in the city center. And this is a beautiful view of one of the main avenues of Gothenburg, Allégatan. And here I'm preparing my painting, mise en place, if you like. Colors ranging from whites, yellows, greens, blue, red, all the way to raw umber. Might be lacking black here. I will read the rather sumptuary conclusion of Alan Emryan to finish off with the role of consciousness. All the conclusions are, however, in the equations and the formulas. Oh, just give me a second here. Thank you very much, Kalle. Still looking for that wireless microphone. Where is it? So for you who follow reading, this is at page 105, the last paragraph, aptly called conclusion. Quantum physics describes the universe and its components in ways that are so far from our everyday experience that it is far stranger than any earlier imagination, including philosophies, myths, or even fairy tales. This is the very kernel of it. This is the best formulation in the whole article. It's no doubt the case, and I would say that is the telos of our project, to bring this fantastic thing somehow to the public with its revelatory news. But as said, including philosophies, myths, or even fairy tales, nothing of the kind as quantum physics has ever been depicted. To a large extent, it is still unexplored. And more surprising facts could be expected to be found in the future. A super Darwinian theory for origin of life and its evolution gives a reasonable explanation to the astonishingly rapid rate at which evolution has taken place. Unfortunately, there is no known way to verify the parallel development of the universe along innumerable paths, one of them leading to the universe in which we are living and to ourselves. As mentioned above, this is impossible as the past of the universe was chosen when humans appeared on the earth. So the alternative histories do not exist anymore. And have never existed. No alternate fossils. They are erased from ever having been alone. And that is also something to comment. The alternatives simply disappears when the collapse of the superposition happens. All the alternate pathways disappears and leave no skeletons, fossils, or trace. It is exactly as if they never ever been there. In the previous lecture we spoke about the bifurcation, the paradoxical situation between what has happened and what didn't happen. An entanglement in time and space. But once the bifurcation is established, one path will be erased forever. That's the imaginary photon that Amrien mentioned in his first article, and that plays a decisive role in quantum mechanics. As far as is known, there's no direct way to prove correctness of the theory. As mentioned above, there are ways to prove it false. most promising probably is the search for extraterrestrial civilizations. So, according to my view, this search is of major importance, as each failure to find one increases the probability for the theory to be correct. If the theory is correct, new questions arise. The theory may be interpreted in terms of the universe being a huge quantum supercomputer programmed for finding a way to couple consciousness to matter. It worked at an incredible speed along innumerable parallel processes for 14 billion years until it found the solution of the problem. Then it stopped. To present the result, and here we are. This raises new questions. If the universe is a kind of computer programmed to find us, then we are the purpose of the universe. This is amazing. For centuries, mankind has been removed from the center of the universe to a tiny planet in the outer regions of one galaxy among billions. Now, we apparently are back again. Not merely back into the center of the universe, our role has increased to being the purpose of the entire universe. So who did the programming and why? Throughout history, people have felt messages telling that someone even outside the universe has a purpose with mankind. Could such messages tell us something important? Could future scientific studies of consciousness lead to a better understanding of its source and its location? If location is a correct word. My comments summary is we see here repeated again and again how the bifurcation develops, how it takes different directions and leads to different futures and places. A way of thinking of that is presented by Donald Hoffman. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He says that our perception is built specifically to collapse the bifurcation, or possibly that reality perception is the collapse. That makes sense. We never see the superposition unless we go into one of the experiments and we realize that there is a most interesting connection intertwining future and past in a netted web that is entanglement. And also the very understanding of how to understand is entangled. It is a reflection of ourselves that we are seeing outside. Remember the qubits, the bits in the quantum computer where less options, less room makes for much more information, exponentially more information. What is that? It is very self-reflecting, and it shows that our inner life is incredibly important, because every thought, every little intention, even the movement of the hairs on my hand will dramatically change the bifurcation. That could be the most important takeaway from the article and this lecture, and that is that you matter in a way that goes well beyond everyday expectations. What you are and the collapse of the superposition amounts to the very same thing. It's an action. It's willed. And here I think you see how intention in a very casual and normal way disappears in the Newtonian paradigm. But in quantum mechanics, it comes back with a vengeance in all its aspects. Without it, no reality at all. Maybe a comment from my colleague. He could not follow on the computer. We are at a different place now.
Could you
Yes,
also,
of
you're more
course.
handy than I am. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I would like to repeat one phrase here that I really love. Is two phrases. Quantum physics, this is in the conclusion that you read. Quantum physics describes the universe and its components in ways that are so far from our everyday experience, that is far stranger than any early imagination, including philosophies, myths, or even fairy tales. To a large extent is still unexplored, and more surprising facts could be expected to be found in the future. I think I will include this as an epigraph to one of my papers. Yes. And we should be proud that we have this physicist Alan Emre in Sweden, and he has written a great paper. So what could we say? What is the great takeaway? I do love the concept super Darwinism. Super, how should we understand super? We could perhaps take it as one possible way is to refer to superposition. That is, and that way you combine quantum physics, superposition quantum physics to Darwinism. And does the Darwinian dictum, the strongest survive? Does it? Can we save it, so to say, in quantum physics? Yes, I think so. In everyday life, if you think about something, say a problem, then you have solution A, B, C in your head. And then when you choose one, the superposition collapses, so to say. And then, so to say, the strongest solution wins. So I say we can save Darwinism, but we have to understand how it works. It's not like it's not a linear model, but it's we could say it's like perhaps like in perhaps we shouldn't even think. I'm always thinking superposition in like you read Chinese. It was from the top to top, bottom. No, but so sometimes I think like that. I don't know why I think perhaps it's
a good start.
It's a start, or perhaps, but I think it's still better than to think the solutions in this, because this is linear thinking. But okay, so you have the problems, so to say, lined up, and then and the bifurcation in Hisingen is very good. I love to see it during the spring. I would like to thank Allan and Hans for this.
Yeah, it's well worth noting that quote. Alan is especially pressing that every time. And I have my own experience. I don't know Kalle, if you remember, I met one of the leaders of the New Age movement, Gary Zukov, here in Gothenburg, 98, where he went for lectures at Mollbergsskolan, I think it's called. And I talked to him during the break and afterwards, and I realized he had a definitely accurate view of quantum mechanics, but he was sized down to fit within the framework of the Newtonian world. And as Kalle mentioned, he thinks in a linear fashion. I think that is inevitable at start, but it is a start. You just need to toggle along. Allan Emrén himself said it took him 8 or 9 years using mathematics to get into it. It was a struggle. I say thank you very much and have a very pleasant morning. Bye bye.
Bye. Hej.